Our guest is an author and widely followed observer of the banking, mortgage, finance and fintech sectors. And he has a new book out, Inflated: Money, Debt and the American Dream. We are joined by Christopher Whalen, chairman of Whalen Global Advisors. Christopher, thank you very much for coming on the show, giving up some of your Memorial Day for this. Really appreciate it. Just to summarize some of the points you've been making in the book and elsewhere, you are looking out for the next real estate crash in America. You think multifamily homes look vulnerable. And you say that yes, Americans broadly need to learn to live within their means. And I think you're talking in particular there about soaring government deficits. We'll start off with that theme. I mean, that seems to be a cloud hanging over the market, the political inability to rein in debt.
Yes, indeed. Americans, really going back to the inception of the Republic, have never really liked to pay taxes. And as soon as we found another way of doing things, which was paper money, we embraced it wholeheartedly, and off we went. After World War II in particular, when we became the global money, after a period of time, people in Washington started to believe that they could just issue debt forever. It's modern monetary theory realized. So, we have reached kind of the point where we can't do this anymore, Andrew, and that's really the challenge. Can America's political leadership find another way for our country to function and to interact with other nations around the world? We can't pay for everything with tariffs, let's put it that way.
I mean, we hear this expression, the democratic deficit. And politicians they have this 4 or 5 year election cycle in mind, and it prevents them from actually adopting policies that will be good yes, in a generational way.
Well, that's right. If you recall the John F. Kennedy book, Profiles in Courage, every time members of Congress have shown courage, they usually lose their seats in the next election. So the safe route has been always to just increase spending 10% a year and go on to something else. So today we have a Congress that can't even pass a budget, much less oversee spending and programs and the rest of it. So, we're almost to the stage where we may want to start thinking about getting rid of the Congress and just hiring a manager. Because honestly, the state of things in Washington is quite disturbing. Even though I tend to be optimistic, even though I work a lot in the housing sector, really we cannot continue to ignore the impact of large amounts of debt on our financial markets. We saw earlier this year when Trump announced the tariffs, or earlier in the first quarter, the Treasury market essentially stopped working for almost a week. It reminded us of that early period in 2020 with COVID. So these are warning signs, and the question is anybody going to take the warning or not?
What's to be done if the politicians, just the system can't make the politicians responsible? What are the remedies here?
Well, ultimately, Americans will do the right thing after they've exhausted the other possibilities. That's Winston Churchill who said that. And likewise, much like 1933, when FDR told everybody what to do for a period of months, I think we're going to have to run into the wall. We're going to have a serious financial crisis. The Fed will come in and buy all of the Treasury debt, as they did in March 2020. And then we're going to have to see if we have any people in the room who have the courage and also, I think, the character to get up and say what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows. If you speak to people in Washington, they know what needs to be done. But the problem is that it's not popular. Mm-hmm. And since the popularity contest is the operative metaphor for American politics, you can see by who we've elected, then really we're going to probably have to change out quite a few people and get some new leadership, I think, in the country. Compare who we have today, Andrew, with the folks who took us through the Great Depression in the 1930s. It's night and day. Is there anybody in the Congress who even resembles Carter Glass, for example, the great Secretary of the Treasury and member of Congress? He was the one who came up with Glass-Steagall, which was dividing the securities business from the rest of the economy. We don't have people like that in Congress today. We have a bunch of glad-handing opportunists who think that cryptocurrencies is the solution for everything in America. So there you are.
You argue that there's risk of another debt bubble in another sector of the real estate market, multifamily housing.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that,
Yes.
Chris, if you would.
Well, consumer incomes have been flat to down. Inflation has taken a lot away from consumers in America. It's harder and harder to pay your rent or pay your mortgage. So what we've seen is that urban properties, especially in cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, that are small, old, where have they ended up? They ended up with the government. So the HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac control $1.6 trillion worth of multifamily real estate. These are mostly older properties that really aren't viable today, given costs and everything else. And then we have politicians in states like New York who've decided that people shouldn't have to deal with higher rent, even though the cost of operating these properties goes up every year. You know, during COVID, we had moratoria on rent and mortgage payments for 2 years. Do you think anybody thought about landlords? No. Mm-hmm. Landlords weren't paid for 2 years. And many of these companies that own these urban multifamily properties were crippled financially. So today you look at people with fully let buildings in New York City that are going into foreclosure because they can't make enough money to cover the costs of operating the building. Ultimately, inflation is at the bottom of all of this. Mm-hmm. And the question again is, can we have an honest discussion? Can we make changes that are going to make it easier for consumers to make ends meet? Because otherwise, the demagogues, if you will, in the political class are going to tell them they don't have to pay their rent. We actually have a mayoral candidate in New York right now who wants to freeze rent payments indefinitely. Now, obviously that doesn't work, but it's, for consumers who can't pay their bills and can't feed their families, it's an attractive argument, isn't it?
Tell us your theory on gold. You would like to see the American government make it easier for people to buy gold. Can you tell us your thinking there and what you're talking about?
I think we've come full circle, Andrew. In the 1930s, Franklin Roosevelt tried to basically take gold out of the U.S. economic equation and make everybody use paper. Now, however, the Chinese have moved the epicenter of gold to Asia. The Shanghai Gold Exchange is the price setter in the world. World central banks are buying gold again as a reserve asset. In fact, starting in July, the bank regulators in Basel, Switzerland, are going to allow banks to have gold as a tier 1 liquid asset. This is a huge change. I think the world is coming back to gold, and I would like to see the U.S. start to issue gold coins based on weight so we can re-educate our people about inflation. It would serve as a counterweight to the tendency in Congress to just spend money. That's where inflation comes from. It comes from the federal deficit. The Fed has to accommodate it after the fact. They're always behind, as you know. All central banks are always a step behind. But it's the fiscal authority in the United States that really generates the inflation.
Christopher, we better jump. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And there is Christopher's new book, Inflated: Money, Debt, and the American Dream. We